right, so it is time. So today I'm going to be talking about the top sets that you should be thinking about and investing in when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I would say the first thing which you have to figure out is why Yu-Gi-Oh. So Yu-Gi-Oh it came out in 2002. There was a set that came out before that, but the original invest English cards came out in 2002, and the main set of Yu-Gi-Oh, as far as the main series, was 2002 to 2005. This is really the height of Yu-Gi-Oh and its popularity. The IP for this, I believe, is about 20 billion, which is huge. It's bigger than Lord of the Rings. It's not on the level of Pokemon, but it's still tremendously popular. And the biggest thing known for this series is its cards. Yeah, there's toys and other things and video games, but really the cards are the things that drove the series, and that's what the show was strictly about. So basically, after 2002 to 2005, you do have 2005 to about 2008, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. The first series from 2002 to 2005 is the golden era. The 2005 to 2008, roughly, is the silver age of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then really bronze is 5Ds, which is after that. And I think popularity of the newer stuff isn't as popular, especially compared to the first three series, really the first two series. So what you should be investing in is the first thing that you should really be seriously thinking about investing in is Yu-Gi-Oh! Tens. And I would say tens from 2002 to 2008. And this is the first ever set of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tens. Dark Magician on the left is the main card, Secret Rare, and then you have Blue Eyes White Dragon in the middle, and then you have Red Eyes Black Dragon, and at the bottom you have Summon Skull, and I believe Lord of D, and then Black Skull Dragon. This is the first 2002 set, very hard to find, but these are the things that you really need to be looking for. So each of these tens has 6 sets of tens from 2002 to 2005, original 10. So 2002 and 2003 are going to be the most expensive and the most nostalgic for people. So it's going to contain Kaiba, Joey, and Yugi, certain monsters. In these tens, I believe it has 5 packs of cards. And then it has, for that monster, a secret rare of cards. So if you don't know rarity, basically how rarity goes is this is a basic overview. You have different rarities, but you have secret, which is the most rare. Then you have ultra and ultimate rare. And then, which are really hard to find in boxes and packs. And then you have super rare, rare, and uncommon, and common. So when it comes to investments, you probably want to stay away from uncommon, common, rare, and super rare. People are like, oh yeah, I got these super rare Blue Eyes White Dragons or super rare this and that. You're wasting your time. There's still a lot of those made, and I don't think the demand for those are going to be there as of right now, maybe 30 years from now. And things may actually dip down quite a bit for super rare stuff, and you can just pick up it super cheap when no one cares about it. So next you have these tens for 2003 that came out. Just more iconic monsters, some of the most iconic monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Magician on the left. Then you have Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's probably the one most people are familiar with, the image on the right. And I actually own that one in my personal collection. And then the 10 Jinzo. And then at the bottom left, Yu-Gi-Oh! Blackluster Soldier, very iconic. Next is, I believe that's Barrel Dragon. On the right, I believe that is Gilfreed the Iron Knight. These are very, very valuable. I believe these are selling hundreds of dollars as well. I believe the lowest is probably Gilfreid, which is about $500. Also, I normally just buy this stuff on eBay. I honestly look for auctions and just pick it up from an auction. And I just buy from reputable sellers. And then here are other sets. This is a 2004 set for 10s. Very eye appealing, very great eye appeal. Same for 2005 set. These are ones I think people should really buy, and I think they're undervalued. Next is the first GX set. These I think are very valuable as well. Next is second GX set. Not necessarily my favorite, but it's still good. And then 5D's first set, I think, is an interesting play with Black Rose Dragon and Starburst Dragon. You also are going to have the World Championship sets, which are really popular. So these are like packs that come from every World Championship. And I would even continue to do that to today. And I will go for super rares for those, or iconic looking cards. Maybe some rares if they're iconic cards. But I would, you could buy packs, but I would stay away from packs. The reason why I would stay away from packs is because the issue with packs is you can manipulate them, you can change them, you know, you can open them, take cards out, and then put fake cards in or different cards in, and then reseal them and sell them. I've seen this also with like video games. You can buy Yu-Gi-Oh video games that have cards in them that are completely sealed. However, there have been people who have opened them, gotten the packs out of the video games, and then resealed them, and sell it to someone. And sometimes people kind of wait to open them, or they don't open them for a long time, and then they get it and they're like, what the freak? So that happens. Other ways you can get cards, but video games, there are a lot of secret rares. Some of them are from Duelist of the Rose, which is a popular set from PlayStation. There's Dawn of Destiny. That one, I believe, Dawn of Destiny for Xbox, has the Ruined Dragon of Ra. Also, Forbidden Memories. That one, I believe, has like the Dark Sage Magician, and Harpy's Pet Dragon, and I think Metamorph, super rare cards. If you're buying the video games now, I think people kind of figured it out, and this stuff is like extremely expensive now. Especially if they're going to be sealed with packs in them. It's going to be just super expensive and very, very hard to find, especially for cheap. So other sets that I think you should be looking at is Masters Collection. It's a binder. It came out around 2004, 2005, I believe, maybe 2006. And then here is the cards in the Master Collection. This is volume 1. They didn't make a volume 2, and that could be something you could be interested in looking into, but I'm just talking about volume 1, which is in front of you right now. So the main cards that are guaranteed in these packs, and these are all secret rares: Exodia the Forbidden One, Barrel Dragon, Relinquish, Thousand Eyes Restrict, Dark Necrofear, and Dark Ruler Hades. These are the main cards. These are some of the more iconic cards, especially for each of the booster packs that you see. So I think it is an excellent, excellent, excellent investment, excellent collection. Very historic, very iconic, and I like the look of the binder with the, you know, Egyptian type hieroglyphics. Also, the original first 6 booster packs are Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is the most iconic in the first set ever, Metal Raiders, Spell Ruler, Pharaoh's Servant, Labyrinth of Nightmare, and Legacy of Darkness. Exodia and Hesdias and Barrel Dragon, these cards are the most common that you're going to find in the series for the most part. There are other ones. I'm gonna make another video for that. But this is a very rare and overlooked set. And I think a lot of people open them, so you can buy them and never open them. Same thing with the tins. You want to buy completely sealed tins that are plastic completely wrapped around them, and with the original sticker. The reason why you want this is because basically sealed product actually increases more than other products altogether. So if you buy sealed product, the money that you put in that is probably better than the graded card because it increases far faster at a much higher rate than the graded cards. Because one of the things about sealed product is there's the novelty factor, and it's almost like you think of like the mystery box. It's like, what could you get? And people go from two extremes. They go from the worst possible scenario, but in something like this, it doesn't, and the best possible scenario. And it's more like gambling. And I think that's part of the reason why people want sealed products, packs, boxes to begin with, and that's why they go for so much money. So it may be cheaper than just buying a card, the best card at a PSA 10. However, having multiple boxes of this stuff will appreciate in value long term. So let's just say Blue Eyes White Dragon, Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon PSA 10 first edition is, let's say it costs you $10,000. It maybe it's better to buy the LOB box set because and spend $10,000 worth on the box set and maybe get two boxes or something like that, or one box, than just buying that card. Because people believe they could get multiple and then they can send off the grading and get a PSA 10, or it can go to BGS and get a BGS 10. And then all these other cards, so you'll make so much more money. That could be the case, or it may not be the case. So it's more of like gambling and people looking at the best case scenario. They may think, oh, I could get two of them in one box, which is extremely rare, but people think that way. Other things that you should be looking at is first edition decks. So Yugi, the first sets for original Yu-Gi-Oh decks came out in 2003. So Yugi with his Dark Magician, Kaiba with the blue eyes, and then the expansion to that, they had Joey with the Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then Pegasus with the Relinquish. All right, and here is what the Yu-Gi-Oh! First edition looks like. You can see on the right top hand corner, it has the first edition logo. And this is the Asian English, and this is what first edition. Top right hand corner, you see first edition. So that's the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck ever, first Kaiba deck ever, first edition. This is the Asian English. Asian English starter decks are probably around $3,000. They cost less than regular English just because of you can't use those in a tournament. And then here's the box set with both sets. And then here's the first Pegasus deck, first edition. And then here is what Joey looks like, the premier card that's guaranteed. There's a checklist, but these cards are guaranteed. So here's Jaden Yugi's. And I mean, Kaiba's guaranteed blue eyes, Yugi guaranteed Dark Magician, Joey guaranteed Red Eyes Black Dragon. Next, the next after that, I believe a few years later, they came out with Yugi and Kaiba Reloaded. Yugi and Kaiba Reloaded is a new set, really around the Battle City time for what their decks look like. It didn't have the Egyptian God cards, but it had other very useful cards. So these cards are not going to be as popular as the first Yugi and Kaiba decks and as nostalgic, but these are really good investments when they're cheaper to get, and they're more likely to find because they actually release more of these as well. They released, I believe, 6 to 8x more starter decks for the first edition than they did for the first Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yugi and Kaiba starter deck. Next is, you should think about it, but Cyrus and Jaden Yugi's first starter decks at first edition. And you want to get first edition if you can get the regular English edition. I mean, you can, but I think you should do first edition. The other thing is you do have first edition, English edition, but also you have the Asian English. I do think that it's going to be more of an investment in the future. And if you're doing it just as an investment, then the Asian English is a cheaper option that I think will go up a lot more and be more valued over time, because over time people are just gonna be like, give me first edition, I don't care which one I get. Next is the Bandai Yugioh. So if you don't know what Bandai Yugioh is, Bandai Yugioh is the original first ever set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's even before the first Japanese set. Most of these are in Japanese lettering. They did release like an English word edition. I think that's the third generation. But I have a first, second, and third generation for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So originally Yu-Gi-Oh came out in, I believe, 96. But when that came out, the Shonen Jump book of it, the manga, came out. So that's why when you see Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you see 1996, but they're not, that's not when the first cards came out. So it's like, oh yeah, I've been buying cards since 96. That's not true. Nothing came out for cards in 96. First cards really came out in 98, and it was Bandai Yu-Gi-Oh. They were selling a candy, and they had cards with these. And here's a picture of what some of the Bandai Yu-Gi-Oh cards look. Most of these are graded. So there's Exodia, first Exodia ever. One of the first Blue Eyes ever. I think this is third edition. These cards are very old. They're most likely going to be beat up and hard to find in great grades. So PSA 8 and a lot of these grades are going to be really good because the pop is so low. It had the original base set, and it had their own game with the rules were different. So these cards do kind of look like ones from the series, from the show. And it does bring this nostalgic type of visibility and for the cards, and they're extremely rare, and it's some of the first cards ever made. So these things will be very valuable, I think, in the future if you can find them graded in PSA, honestly, PSA 8, 9, or 10. And it's really a lot of iconic cards. There's certain ones, I believe, like Mirror Force and Monster Reborn, that are very expensive now. Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, you know, you have Dark Magician, you know, these iconic cards, Exodia. These are some of the cards that you should be looking at for that set. It's very hard to find an exact set, and I wouldn't necessarily say go and buy raw cards and get them graded. I think people have already done that. I think you're going to see a lot of cards that are going to hit the market that are graded. Next is, I would say, different sets that I would say from 2002 to 2005 for booster boxes. The first ever and most, and all these, it's better to get them in first edition than anything else. So the first one is Legends of Blue Eyes White Dragon. And this is what the booster box looks like. And this is what you really should be looking for. Very expensive though. Second is Metal Raider. And then this is what the Metal Raider box looks like. This is the second set ever made. These two sets are going to go up the most because these really have some of the best cards. So Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, you know, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Black Skull Dragon, Summon Skull, like some of the most iconic cards. And because it was the first set, they didn't make as many boxes and didn't make as many cards. So they knew the popularity was going to be big, but not as big as they originally thought, because, I mean, this broke the Guinness Book of World Records for, you know, cards, so for a kid's cards game. Metal Raiders, then Spell Ruler, and then after that, Pharaoh's Servant. These all came out around 2002. Also, here is Spell Ruler, and next up is Pharaoh's Servant. These have some pretty nice cards as well, especially go after Secret Rares, Ultra, and Ultimate Rares for these sets. Next, for 2003, was Dark Crisis, Magician Force, Legacy of Darkness, and Pharaonic Guardian. Next is, that I believe came out in 2004, is Invasion of Chaos, Ancient Sanctuary, Dark Beginning, and Rise of Destiny. There are other sets that you could buy, but I would strongly recommend these sets because these are some of the original ones. These have some of the best cards. And what I would say for these, buy them completely sealed, hopefully not beat up. If the box is beat up or the packaging is beat up or whatever, hopefully it's not tampered with. Make sure it's not tampered with. But maybe you should open them and open up the packs and then send them to get graded. Very, very possible that you just go and send these cards to get graded. But if it's in great condition, completely sealed, the best thing I would suggest is put them in a safe place, bubble wrap them, and put them in a safe place and hold them long term. Hold them 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I believe these specific cards will, or these specific sets will outpace probably the stock market, real estate, some of your basic forms and safer forms of investment. And I think these are one of the best alternative forms of investment. And yeah, like that should be, those are the main sets that I would say. There are other things. There are gold, like gold rares, which I think people should get interested in. Um, Ghost rares are other cards that have those that people should get interested in. The other thing is I think people should put time into is putting time into certain other special, the first ever gold set, the first ever premium pack set. Some of these are, I think, very valuable and worth it as well. And if you have anything, agree or disagree, please comment below. Please like and subscribe. And I'm going to be doing more on Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon as well.